Hello everyone. Today we are going to make a very economical dessert. The first time my mom made this back in the 70s, I fell in love with it. It is a no-bake dessert that contains a lot of healthy ingredients, including oat milk and peanut butter, and you use cocoa. I don't make these as often as I would like to make them. Usually I only make half a recipe because there's only two of us, but today I'm making a full recipe and these are great to keep in the freezer. By the way, my name is Terry Lynn. Welcome to Frugal Lifestyle, where I do budget cooking, gardening, and compare prices at retailers to save money on groceries and home items. The first step to making no-bake cookies is to gather all of your ingredients. The recipe has a total of 8 ingredients, including salt. Now, salt is always optional. If you're using margarine, salted margarine like I'm using, then you don't really need it, but I like to put a little sprinkle of salt. It tastes really good that way. So we have 8 ingredients. That's oats, sugar, peanut butter, milk, cocoa, margarine or butter, vanilla, and salt, which is optional. I gather my ingredients together and I do the measuring ahead of time. It's the best way to do it. If you're making a full recipe like I'm doing today, you'll need a large pan for this. You want to have plenty of room to stir everything in because that's 3 cups of oats that we're using. And you want to make sure that you have a large enough pan to handle all that. Also, it's a good idea to lightly spray your pan with nonstick cooking spray. And have your parchment lined sheet pan ready to go for when you start scooping the cookies onto the sheet, because it can go very quickly. And you want to make sure you have that ready ahead of time and not grabbing for the parchment paper and the pan in the last minute. Sugar, cocoa. I like to blend the sugar and cocoa together thoroughly and break up any lumps. Then add your milk, margarine or butter, and turn on your heat to medium. And I would turn it down between medium and low maybe. Yeah, you don't want to boil it too much. I like to cook it very slowly until it starts to boil. And what you want to achieve here is a thick chocolate sauce. It will take a while for your butter to melt, and then your chocolate sauce will start to boil and harden a little bit. Okay. And let it boil for 2 minutes. The original recipe said 1 minute, and Mom and I decided that's just not long enough. And it hardens better and quicker if you let it boil for 2 minutes. But do not go past 2 minutes. That would be too long, and then everything will dry out. You don't want your mixture to be too dry, because you still want it to have that creamy texture. Okay, it's been a couple minutes. So now we add vanilla. And I'm just going to do a sprinkle of salt. And peanut butter. I need a smaller spoon for that. Get all of that out of there. And make sure you use all the peanut butter that it calls for, because the peanut butter helps for everything to hold together. Even if you have to take another spoon to get that off the spoon. That's very important. Start stirring away here and then add your oats. And stir everything very quickly. And it will start to harden right away. As you can see, it's starting to harden already. So it is time to start scooping out our cookies. And you can make them as small or as large as you like. I just wanted you to see how I scoop it out here. Yeah, I do about that amount. And I just keep going at a very fast rate. So I put the first sheet pan filled with cookies in the freezer to chill, while I use up the rest of the mixture on the smaller pan. Here's the one in the freezer. This is the larger pan. So you can see we made over a dozen cookies. I'd have to count them. I managed to get them both in there, both trays in there. This one's at a slant, but I think it will be all right. The cookies are solid enough where they're not going to spill over or fall into each other. We'll just keep these in the freezer for several minutes and then we'll try one. I took the first batch out of the freezer and only took 7 minutes. The ones that I spooned out first are ready. And these are still, I'll put these back in the freezer longer, but I want to try one. I want to show you what I did with the pan after I scraped it out. Just put the pan and the spoons and measuring cups I used, I just put it to soak in with some dishwashing liquid. All right, let's try a cookie. Looks delicious, doesn't it? The texture turned out very well. The taste, the flavor is wonderful. Just that little bit of salt does help break up the sweetness so it's not so sweet. It really helps. I don't have any complaint about this cookie. So I will type the recipe for you. It only takes 8 ingredients. Like I said, the salt is optional, so it could just be 7. But everyone has salt. It's mostly pantry items, which is wonderful. You probably have all of these items in your cupboard. And you can use the cheaper cocoa if you want, the one that's less expensive, cocoa that's less expensive. I happen to think that the Hershey's has the best flavor because I've tried, I think it was Aldi's cocoa in the past. And the cookie just did not taste as good as Hershey's. Hershey's cocoa, to me, is the best cocoa to use for this recipe. And what I do, I only buy it once a year because I don't make that many no-bake cookies. I only make it a few times a year, like 3 or 4 times a year. I'd like to make it more often, though. So if I can get some good deals on Hershey's, I will. But I try Walmart first, and then I'll look and see if Kroger has any specials because Aldi doesn't carry it. So you can just shop around and get the best deal on cocoa. And you might get a better deal if you buy a larger container also than a smaller container. And I may do that because I think I'm going to want to make these more often because this will help me resist the temptation to give in to candy bars and chocolates that my husband brings into the house. Thanks for watching today. I really appreciate it. The person that suggested I made these, thank you very much. I love these cookies. I'm so glad I made them. God bless each and every one of you. I'll see you on the next one.